Welcome back to another video, and if you guys are new around here, my name is Devin Mason, and in today's video I'm going to cover the top 5 things that I wish I knew when I started working out or just my fitness journey in general. And these 5 things really cover a broad spectrum of like fitness goals that you might want to achieve, or just making progress in general. It could be for anything, whether you're an athlete, whether you're a competitive physique athlete, bodybuilder, just the average gym goer looking to get in better shape. I think these apply to everyone, and even the average Joe that doesn't even like to go to the gym. I think if you can instill some of these things into your life, it would be greatly beneficial. But before we do hop into the first thing, I want you guys to comment down below before I even say any of these things. No matter how far you are into your fitness journey, I'd love you to share one of the things that you've learned along the way. Whether you've been going to the gym for years in training, working out, anything like that, or if it's just like your second week going to the gym, I would guess that you've learned something along the way. And number 1 is you cannot outtrain a poor diet. And ultimately what this means is your diet is essential for your body recomposition, your performance, just if you want to go up or down in weight, if you want to gain muscle, all of these things, diet plays a huge role in them. So essentially, you need a proper diet for your body recomposition, as I did mention. So if you want to maintain your weight and like put on some muscle, you might want to add a bit more protein into your diet and eat at a caloric maintenance. Or if you want to lose weight, you're going to have to eat in a caloric deficit. And then if you want to bulk up and gain as much muscle mass as possible, and you're willing to give up a couple of percentage in terms of your leanness and body fat, then you want to be in a caloric surplus. So with that being said, you have to have a rough estimate then of your caloric intake and how many calories you need to be at maintenance. So this really comes along with just having a general understanding of what you're putting in your body, and what you're eating can play a huge factor in your just your progress, your ability to control how you look in terms of how lean you are, how much muscle mass you do put on, and all of that. So I think it's important for you, even if you don't want to track every day or anything like that, just to start getting a rough estimate and try out tracking so you can understand really what or how many calories you need to take in to maintain your weight, to gain weight, to lose weight, etc. And this goes along with the thing or the idea of abs are made in the kitchen, not the gym. In order to be at a body fat percentage that does ultimately reveal your abs, which I've been in and out of that, with my highest weigh-in being like 233, I believe, last year, and then my lowest weigh-in of recent, ultimately being full grown, was right around like 183 or 184 when I was in show prep. So I really do understand that concept now, but it's something that I really do wish as a beginner I understood just how important understanding what you're putting into your body really is for your physical performance and your body recomposition overall. The second thing is to make sure that you are logging your workouts. And you should just be tracking your training in general, no matter what sport you play, no matter what you're training for, whether that's a triathlon, you're just running every day, or you're training in the gym. This is super important, as you can make sure that you're instilling progressive overload into your training and just overall making progress, and not just going to the gym, going through the movements, and then going home. You're not going to see the results that you really want to see from the gym, and definitely not as quick as you would see by instilling this progressive overload, by logging your workouts and just making sure that you are making progress each week or each month or each cycle, depending on how fast you can progress. And that just comes down to, obviously, training style, experience, a number of different factors. But with that, then also I would recommend that you do train each body part twice a week. Some people are big supporters of the bro split, and I'll throw up a video on screen, made one already, why the bro split might be killing your gains. So if you are a big supporter of the bro split, I just recommend you go watch that video, and maybe it'll sway your your opinion on that topic. But nevertheless, I think it's super important that you should be tracking your training. And this is something that I started incorporating probably 2 years ago now into my training, and it has been a big key to my success and my ability to progress in the gym. And I'll throw up videos throughout videos and pictures throughout the video just to show you and highlight some of these key things. But without further ado, let's move on to number 3. Number 3 is that patience and discipline are the key to success over the long term, and even in the short term for that matter. Progress does not happen overnight, especially for body recomposition, putting on lean mass, losing weight, even for being realistic here. And ultimately, the biggest thing is that you need to realize this and expect for your journey to take a while. There was a infographic out there, I'll throw it up on screen, but I believe it was something like it takes 4 weeks for you to notice progress, it takes 8 weeks for your friends and family to notice progress, and then it takes 12 weeks for the rest of the world to realize progress. And I thought that was super cool because it kind of puts a timeline on things, but a realistic one at that. You shouldn't expect things to happen overnight, and you definitely shouldn't get hung up on these small things in your training when you don't make a PR for the next week or you don't progress week to week anymore. It's super important to look on the long term and realize that your progress is not going to be linear, and your weights in the gym are not going to just go like this forever. They might for the first couple of weeks when you're a complete newbie and you're just getting used to movements, but I think that comes down to just getting better motor pathways and just improving your form on a lot of movements. We'll just jump those weights. But nevertheless, super important to realize that you need to have patience and be disciplined with your training, with your nutrition, and with the other things that I'll cover later in this video. Number 4, and one of the simplest things I think you can do to help your performance and just help with your progression in the gym, in your training, in your performance overall, is to make sure that you're staying hydrated. And this will lead to you consistently making progress in the gym. And it's super important because your muscles are made up like 75% water, I believe it is. And there are tons of different charts out there. I'll throw up a couple on screen. But pretty much at the end of the day, if you're not hydrated, your performance is going to be hurt detrimentally in some cases, especially depending on how dehydrated you are. So I think it's super important to just consistently drink water. If you're not peeing light yellow or even clear for that matter, you should probably be drinking more water. Super simple, but one of the biggest things when first starting out that I wish I would have just paid more attention to and just made sure that it was a factor that was always handled and was always consistent for my training. And even today, I'm a big fan of coffee, but if I drink too much coffee before I go train in the morning, because it is a natural diuretic, I can just tell that my training is affected if I haven't drinking enough water with that coffee. So it's something that's super important as you become more advanced in your training or you're trying to perform on a higher level consistently. Hydration is a key component to being able to perform no matter what your sport is, whatever physical activity is. Hydration is super important. And number 5, and I would say the most important thing on this list, is to make sure that you're adequately recovering and sleeping a good amount of time each night. I would say 7 hours or more. But honestly, I would just aim to have 8 hours a night, and then if you have a couple of bad nights every once in a while and you're under that and you get your like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, which I know is realistic for people that have busy schedules and stuff, then you can recover from that and you won't be missing out on a ton of different key things. Some of the benefits of sleeping 8 hours a night are increased performance, reduced fatigue while performing that. You have better reaction time and better cognitive function. Regeneration, which I think is super important. And essentially, you need to realize that your muscle mass and your training, while you're training, your muscle is actually getting broken down and you're creating micro tears in your muscle in that time when you're recovering or sleeping. Especially when you're sleeping, your body is doing all the structural repairs, and that is ultimately what makes your muscle mass grow, is that repairing of the muscle that your body is doing while you're sleeping. And then also your anabolic hormones are heavily dependent on sleep. So if you want a good testosterone level and good growth hormone level, you need to make sure that you're sleeping that 8 hours a night. And then also with that, it has some positive benefits on immune system function, which is super important because if you're sick, you can't really train optimally. And if you're sick and can't get to the gym or get trained at all, it's going to negatively affect your progress. in a large way. And then also with that, I'll throw up the infographic on screen, but it's something along the lines of if athletes sleep less than X amount of hours a night, they're twice as likely to get injured. And I would say that's true even for the people that are just going to the gym and training. Two, you're at a much higher risk of injury if you are not sleeping adequately. So if there's one thing that you can do on this list consistently, honestly, just sleep. There's also another metric that points out that people that actually sleep 8 hours a day are so much lighter than other people and lose on average this amount of weight. I'll throw up the graphics on screen because I am not an Urban Dictionary and can't remember this all off the top of my head, but ultimately just cannot stress it enough that recovery and sleep are arguably the most important thing for increasing physical performance, and then also just aiding in body recomposition. So like I said, if you take one thing from this list, just sleep 8 hours a night. Pretty easy to do, in all honesty, and you just have to make it a priority if you don't already. If you made it this far in the video, I'd just like to say thank you, and I truly appreciate the support and the long watch times, as it does help out with the YouTube algorithm. And if you did go on to enjoy the video, make sure to like it, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and then also comment down below any questions, comments, concerns, and as I did mention in the beginning of the video, comment down below anything that you would add to this list, or if you've learned along your fitness journey. I would love to hear it, and it also could benefit others that may watch this video and scroll through the comments section. Without further ado, once again, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.